Look at you, dripping wet and still a catch. Suddenly, I realized I was drenched from head to toe with something cold. What's this? What situation have I found myself in? The raucous laughter and the sharp scent made me realize I had been doused with beer. As soon as I realized, anger surged within me. Why am I being doused with beer? I hadn't done anything to deserve this, so why am I facing such humiliation in front of everyone? I couldn't suppress the mix of sadness and rage that welled up within me due to this unjust situation. Since my childhood, I've been nicknamed Nerd. This wasn't because I was the class president or because I was particularly good at studying, but because of the thick glasses I started wearing in elementary school due to my poor eyesight. And not just any glasses, but the kind that made me look even more of a nerd because they were so unfashionable. Even though my parents could have bought me stylish glasses, they always said, glasses are all about comfort, looks come second, and handed me the same old design. I couldn't say anything since my parents were buying them, but deep down, I felt embarrassed. This feeling only intensified when I moved on to middle school. Rachel is so cute. I fell for a girl shortly after starting middle school. Students at my middle school came from 2 nearby elementary schools. This girl apparently went to the other elementary school, so she was someone I didn't know. According to boys who had been at the same elementary school as her, her name was Rachel. She was the daughter of a major outdoor products company CEO, a veritable princess. Many boys fancied Rachel, but with my plain looks and bottle-bottom glasses, I didn't stand a chance. Rachel's entourage mocked and laughed at me, calling me a gold digger and accusing me of trying to snag a rich wife. Stay away from Rachel, you gloomy nerd. I was shoved forcefully and even threatened. I know it better than anyone else, even without being told. I'm not a match for Rachel, but surely I'm free to have feelings for her. Yet, that reality kept me from ever confessing my feelings. Then, one day, Rachel called me out. Was she angry that I had been secretly watching her? Wondering if she wanted to complain, my heart raced as I headed to the designated spot. The spot was at the corner of the school building, and I was terrified. When I got there, Rachel was standing there, arms crossed. I've been waiting for you, Nathan. Standing rigid and sweating coldly, I faced Rachel as she called out my name with her arms crossed. What should I do? I'm really scared. With that thought, I fixed my gaze on Rachel. Even at a moment like this, I couldn't help but think, she's still so cute. I have something I want to tell you, she said. Yes, what is it? I like you. Would you go out with me? What? I couldn't believe my ears. What did Rachel just say? Did she say she likes me? And it sounded like she asked if we could date. Could I have heard wrong? With those thoughts, I pinched my own cheek to check. It hurt. If it hurts, then this isn't a dream. Is this for real? Was Rachel, the girl of my dreams, really saying she liked me? I was overjoyed. Well, I like you too, Rachel. Ha ha ha. What? As I was trying to confess my feelings to Rachel, she burst out laughing. Ha ha ha, that's so lame. Can't believe you fell for it. Snort, isn't this hilarious? Rachel's friends, who had apparently been hiding, appeared and started laughing loudly. Confused, I just stood there going, what? You really took that seriously? Did you honestly think I'd confess to someone like you, Nathan? Well, this was just a dare, idiot. No, that can't be. I knew that dares to confess were a common thing. But I couldn't believe they'd do this, knowing full well that I liked Rachel. What do they think of other people's feelings? After a good laugh, Rachel and her friends left me standing there and walked away. I was genuinely shocked and ended up developing a distrust of people, to the point where I couldn't bring myself to go to school anymore. My parents were concerned but didn't force me to go. They let me stay home as I pleased, which thankfully prevented me from growing to hate people. I guess I ran away from reality. I even ran away from entering high school. I knew dropping out at middle school would disadvantage me in life, but I just couldn't do it. After much distress, at the strong suggestion of my parents, I decided to enroll in a correspondence high school that would allow me to earn a high school diploma from home. I diligently attended classes for 3 years and somehow managed to graduate. While I missed out on a lot by living a reclusive life, I greatly improved my computer skills. Mostly self-taught, I acquired enough skill from middle school through high school to create my own online games. There's a good number of gamers who love indie games. In the online gaming communities, the word of my game spread, and I became somewhat well known among gamers. This led to friendships with other gamers. We usually interacted via chat, but I started wanting to meet and talk more in person. There are things you just can't fully express for a chat, and once the idea of meeting up took hold, it wouldn't let go. Meeting in person means we could play games while chatting. Things hard to convey with words could be shown through actions, making the experience much more exciting. But I was hesitant to go outside. I was invited to a meetup, but I considered turning it down. I agonized over it until my parents suggested, why not go out for a change? They had always watched over me without forcing me to go out, even when I stopped attending school and stayed inside. Encouraged by my parents, who had always supported me, I decided to brave the outside and attend the meetup. The meetup was scheduled for late in the evening and in a place far enough that I wouldn't likely run into anyone from middle school. I reassured myself that staying overnight at a hotel would be fine and decided to go. Once there, since it was a gathering of online friends, I quickly became comfortable with everyone. Talking and sharing stories, including those of others who had re-entered society from seclusion, made me feel like I could do it too. After that first meetup, I surprisingly managed to re-enter society quite easily. It was simpler than I thought. I started with a night job that didn't require customer interaction. A factory job where I could wear a mask and not worry about other people's eyes felt right, and as I got used to it, I moved on to night shifts at a convenience store. Gradually stepping up as advised made going outside enjoyable. And my parents were overjoyed at my growth, which made me incredibly happy. The meetups didn't end at just the first one. They became a monthly event. During one of these gatherings, I met a woman who claimed to be a fan of the games I had created. "Nice to meet you. I'm a huge fan of your games." "Thank you, I appreciate that." "My name is Amber. I've been a fan since your first game, man." Amber praised my game enthusiastically, saying, "This part was amazing and it was really challenging to obtain that item," as she shared all the things she found fascinating. Her enthusiasm made me increasingly embarrassed. I even made my own merchandise for the game characters since there weren't any official ones. Really? See, I tried to make it look like them. The strap she showed me definitely featured characters from my game. She modestly suggested it might not look much like them, but the key characteristics were unmistakably captured. Anyone familiar with my game would recognize them immediately. No, this is amazing. My games were just indie projects, without any sponsorship. I hadn't even considered making merchandise, let alone had the talent for it. After all, it was just a hobbyist project that happened to get some attention among gamers. Custom merchandise would be costly and time-consuming to produce. It really means a lot that you like my games so much. Thank you. Not at all. I was genuinely touched by her enthusiasm. So, Nathan, I was wondering. Yes, what about? Would you let me invest in your talent? Excuse me. What did Ember just say? Invest in my talent. I found myself thinking about what investment actually meant, which felt entirely out of place. I don't think your talent should be buried in indie games. It deserves to be known by everyone. Could you give me a moment to think? This third game of yours is bound to be a hit. It absolutely needs to be released to the world. There was no stopping the excited Ember. Actually, my father runs a toy company. Would you consider working with us? What? There are no quotas. Just create whenever you feel inspired. The offer was incredibly tempting. Earning a living doing what I love is not something that comes by just because someone went to a prestigious university. I have become distrustful of people because of my middle school experiences, but that was no longer the case. I could trust the people I met through these meetups. Without trust, I couldn't move forward. With that thought, I decided to take up the offer. Working in a field I loved, I was able to fully utilize my talents in an ideal environment, and I rapidly developed new games. At the age of 25, I was promoted to an executive position in the company. 6 months after being promoted to an executive position at Ember's company, I received a postcard about the 10th anniversary reunion of my middle school graduation. To be honest, I didn't want to go. I had no fond memories of middle school. Understandably so. Moreover, the reunion included a grand barbecue at a campsite funded by Rachel's father, which made the prospect even less appealing. However, the invitation had already been marked with a circle around "will attend," and at the bottom it was written, "You'll regret it if you don't come." This must be the work of Rachel's entourage. Ignoring it might have been an option, but it seemed like it could lead to more trouble later, so I reluctantly decided to attend. After all, I'm not the same person I used to be, the one who used to hide away from the world. On the day of the reunion, as I arrived at the designated campsite, classmates who had turned a blind eye back then approached me with laughter. "Hey, Nathan, long time no see." "Yeah. Did you finally graduate from being a shut-in?" I felt more exasperated than angry at the rude greeting upon our reunion. It was clear that even past the age of 25, some hadn't matured beyond their childish behavior. I brushed off their teasing and focused on the meal in front of me. The food, prepared with high-quality ingredients, including freshly grilled meat and vegetables, was delicious. I had no interest in reminiscing about the past. I decided to at least enjoy the meal I had paid for and then leave. "Oh, if it isn't Nathan." An unwelcome voice reached my ears, and I grimaced before looking up. After swallowing the piece of meat in my mouth, I saw Rachel, dressed more flamboyantly than before, standing there. Considering it was a campsite, her revealing outfit and heels seemed dangerously inappropriate. "If you're here, you should at least say hello to me." Her arrogance hadn't changed. Rachel's condescending approach irritated me. However, not wanting to start a fight, I greeted her with a purely perfunctory "it's been a while." Unaware or perhaps too drunk to notice, Rachel continued to laugh boisterously. "How about it? All these products are from my company. This and this, even that grill over there, all state-of-the-art." As she began to boast about her family's business, other classmates started to look away with tired expressions, murmuring, "Here she goes again, and it's starting." People were mostly fiddling with their phones, responding half-heartedly. Perhaps frustrated by the lack of response, Rachel directed her anger at me, who had been ignoring her. Splash! What? Something cold hit my face, leaving me momentarily stunned. "Listen, when people are talking to you, why are you ignoring me?" Rachel's shrill voice and the smell emanating from my body made me realize she had doused me with beer. Why was this suddenly happening? Unable to stay silent, I glared at Rachel and demanded, "What are you doing?" Laughing at my anger, Rachel retorted, "Oh, look at you, turning into such a hunk when you're wet. Ha ha ha. Why am I being doused with beer in front of everyone? There's a limit to how much you can blame on being drunk." Eureka beer. One of her followers found the situation amusing and laughed even louder. Furious at Rachel's outrageous behavior and her followers' encouragement, I clenched my fists tightly. I didn't deserve such humiliation. Just as I was about to retort, an angry voice filled with indignation cut in before me. "Do you ladies realize who he is, to be treating him like this?" The voice, heavy with anger, silenced them. Rachel and her followers ceased their laughter at the voice. "What? Who?" Everyone turned to see who had spoken. "Whoa, she's gorgeous. Was there ever such a beauty in our class?" Murmurs spread, and the atmosphere began to stir. "Nathan, are you okay?" "Yeah." She approached me and pulled a face towel from her bag to gently wipe my face. "I came to pick you up because you were late." "Sorry." "It's okay, but still." She stopped mid-sentence and looked at Rachel. "You've been treated terribly." "Sorry, Ember, I meant to leave soon." I smiled at Ember, who had arrived just in time. Seemingly displeased with our interaction, Rachel intervened with a huff. "Excuse me, outsiders are not allowed here." Ember glanced at Rachel, her eyes sharpening when she noticed the glass in her hand. "Do you think you can compensate for a potential loss of $5 million if Nathan catches a cold?" "What? $5 million? What are you talking about? Why would Nathan be worth $5 million? Did you just say worth?" Upon hearing Rachel's words, Ember's anger became even more evident. "Everyone here is engrossed in the mobile game our company made." "What? Nathan created it?" At Ember's words, Rachel's complexion changed. "Wait, so, the $5 million? When Rachel asked timidly, Ember grinned and looked at me, so I slightly lifted my chin and gave her a smile in return. "That's my annual income." As soon as I answered, Rachel's demeanor flipped to a forced smile. "Don't make such a face. Come on." Her voice was cloying, but it only irked me. "Hey, you said you like me, right? I might consider dating you now." I was astounded by Rachel's arrogance. "When are you talking about?" "I liked you too," I confessed, remember. You laughed it off as a dare." "Don't say that, Nathan." As Rachel reached out, trying to act sweet, Ember slapped her hand away. "Don't touch him so casually." After glaring at the surprised Rachel, Ember grabbed my hand and turned away. "We don't need to stay here any longer." As we left, I could hear Rachel shouting, "How dare you slap my hand? Remember this, I'll ruin your crappy game by spreading the lowest reviews." Rachel, fueled by her drunkenness, indeed spread negative comments about my game, but her identity was quickly revealed. She had underestimated the gaming community's dedication. She really did do it. "I couldn't stand her insulting you, so I asked our friends to help expose her, then spread the word." My former meetup friends were furious about the attack on my game, leading to a massive backlash against Rachel's social media. But Amber didn't let it go at that. She sued Rachel's father's company for defamation and business interference, demanding compensation. Since she had recorded the entire conversation, Rachel's father complied with all the lawsuits. When I met him directly, he was a decent man who sincerely apologized to me. He said he'd sell company shares to pay a substantial settlement in one lump sum and disowned his daughter. He severed the parent-child bond, declaring, "I won't help you no matter what happens in the future," and truly kicked her out. Rumor has it that after losing her status as the CEO's daughter, Rachel was abandoned by her entourage and ended up isolated, eventually having to start her first part-time job to make ends meet. She reportedly switched jobs frequently, but that's none of my business. I felt guilty for involving her parents in this matter, but it seems Rachel's father was capable. He managed to recover his company by capitalizing on the solo camping boom, which was a relief to hear. As for Ember, she seems jealous when she sees me concerned about Rachel. It's not that I care in that way, I just don't want Rachel to appear before me again, but it seems that it still bothers Ember. You're the only one for me, Ember. I'll cherish you for life. Promise. Of course. I intend to cherish Ember, who has been so significant to me and changed my life. Soon, I plan to propose to her.